Maisha Bora Sacco invites all our valued members to a special general meeting this October. Join us on Saturday, 11th October 2025 from 10 a.m. at PCEA St. Andrew's Church, Nyerere Road, Nairobi. This important gathering is your opportunity to stay informed and help shape the future of our SACCO as we continue to grow and innovate. Let's celebrate our journey of financial brilliance and plan for the exciting milestones ahead. Mark your calendar. Come early and be part of the conversation. Maisha Bora Sacco, celebrating 50 years of financial brilliance. Maisha Bora Sacco invites all our valued members to a special general meeting this October. Join us on Saturday, 11th October 2025 from 10 a.m. at PCEA St. Andrew's Church, Nyerere Road, Nairobi. This important gathering is your opportunity to stay informed and help shape the future of our SACCO as we continue to grow and innovate. Let's celebrate our journey of financial brilliance and plan for the exciting milestones ahead. Mark your calendar. Come early and be part of the conversation.
Amen. Thank you sana hii siku ya leo, siku ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu ametujalia. Kwa hivyo tunamshukuru kwa mema mengi ambayo ametujalia. Sasa tunapojiandaa vile vile katika ile hafla nyingineyo, tutaanza na masuala ya elimu. Na haya masuala ya elimu yanatokana na yale maswali mbalimbali ambayo nyinyi kama wanachama mumeweza kuuliza mara kwa mara. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa na hii hafla tukijiandaa kwa hile nyingineyo where our board will be taking over. So for this session we are going to go through a few education questions that have been asked by the members, and I want to believe we are going to learn from one another. Aya, sasa tunapozidi kuelimishana, kuna maswali kadha ambayo tutakuwa tunajiuliza. Kwa hivyo Tukiuliza kwamba tuungane, tutasema aje? Kwa maisha bora. Tuungane. Asanteni. Kisha tutasema ya kwamba nikisema it's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco, mtasema it's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. Nikisema ya kwamba it's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco, mtasema it's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. Nikisema it's wa, mtasema it's na. Nikisema it's na, mtasema it's wa. Sivyo? Tujaribu, si ndio? It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wa. It's na. Okay, sasa tumeshika, sivyo? Si ndio? Hiyo ilikuwa rehearsals. Now we start. Si ndio? Hebu tujipigieni makofi kwanza. Aya, alafu wauliza mwenzako yuko karibu nawe. Je, uko tayari kwa SGM ya leo? Hebu tujiulizane. Asanteni sana, naona nyuso za tabasamu, ishara kwamba sote bila shaka tuko tayari kwa SGM hii ya leo, si ndio? Na nikisema SGM mtasema 2025. SGM, tuungane, tuungane. It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wa. It's na. Asanteni sana, tujipigieni makofi. Thank you so much. So we are going to go through a few questions that our members have been asking from time to time. And the way we did state earlier, today is a very special day for us as members of Maisha Bora Sacco. Therefore, as we thank God for this wonderful moment, I can see all of us are in good health and with the shining faces, just ready for the day. So I will take us through a few slides, and the overview of this presentation is for us to understand what our member benefits are, and also what you as a member, you are entitled to. And also, we shall have a small view of a GFE, what we call group funeral expenses. And we are going to go through what we require for us to be able to make the claim. And then, in the event that at one given point you became an inactive member of the SACCO, we are going to go through how you can become active once again. Ni maswala machache ambayo tumeweza kuuliza na hivi leo tutaweza kujibiwa. Na tukumbuke ya kwamba member education at Maisha Bora Sacco remains a priority. And for us as stakeholders of Maisha Bora Sacco, under our SACCO bylaws, Article 7.5 of our SACCO bylaws gives us the right to education, the right to communication, and the right to get information from the SACCO. Sisi kama wanachama tuko na uhuru wa kuweza kuelimishwa, wa kupata habari na vile vile kuweza kupata mawasiliano kutoka SACCO yetu tunayoienzi ya Maisha Bora Sacco. Na tunapoendelea, maswali mengi sana yameweza kuulizwa kuhusu what we call GFE ama Benevolent Fund. GFE inamaanisha Group Funeral Expenses, and it's a scheme that allows us as members of the SACCO, in the unlikely event that something happens, either to you as a principal member, to your spouse, or to your children and your parents. And the parents, both your biological parents as well as your parents-in-law. Ya kwamba, wewe kama mwanachama, unapopatwa na janga la msiba, pengine kwa watoto ama wazazi, na wazazi wazazi wako na vile wazazi wa mpenzi wako. Na ndiposa uweze benefit from the GFE, ni lazima ukue umewaregister wale wote ambao watanufaika. Kwa hiyo viwango ambayo tumetaja, wazazi, na wazazi ni wapande mbili, wazazi wako na vile wazazi wa mpenzi wako na vile watoto, na wewe mwenyewe kama the principal member, you benefit from what we call group funeral expenses. Now, tunajua ya kwamba kila mwezi sisi kama wanachama wa Maisha Bora Sacco ni jukumu letu kuweza kutoa fedha hadi kiwango cha shilingi 1,700, 1,700 for our monthly contributions. Out of the 1,700, shilingi 1,000 huwekwa kwa what we call share deposits, or rather your savings in the Sacco. Shilingi 500 huwekwa kwa your shares in the Sacco, ama what we call share capital. Kisha shilingi 200 peke yake huwekwa kwa what we call GFE, ama benevolent fund, ama group funeral expenses. Na ujue ya kwamba hapo nyuma kiwango cha GFE kilikuwa shilingi 100, na hadi our last AGM when members resolved that the amount be increased to the current amount of 200. So the current GFE remittance per month is 200 bob. And that one gives you the opportunity as a member to benefit from what we. Kama ni watoto, shilingi 50,000. Kama ni wazazi, shilingi 40,000. That's how GFE works. Out of the 200 that you remit to the Sacco, you will be able to benefit from the listed amount. 170,000 for the principal member, 70,000 for the spouse, 50,000 for the children, and 40,000 for the parents. And the parents, both your biological parents as well as your parents-in-law. Tuko pamoja, sivyo? Tuungane, tuungane. SGM 2025. SGM, SGM. Aya, hebu uliza jirani yako, bado tuko pamoja na unasikia mambo haya? Hebu tuulizane tunapozidi kuelimishana. Now, tumeangalia masuala ya GFE. Kama bado utakuwa na swali kuhusiana na GFE ama benevolent fund, uko na uhuru wa kuweza kuuliza hata zaidi. We are outside, we have a desk there, and we shall keep on engaging. Now, wewe kama mwanachama, jinsi tulivyosema ya kwamba ni jukumu letu kila mwezi tuwe tunatoa shilingi 1,100 na 700. 1,100, 1,700, sivyo? It's our duty, it's our responsibility that every month we remit 1,700. That is on the minimum amount that you are required to contribute to the Sacco monthly. However, you have the freedom to contribute as much as you can manage beyond the 1,700. So it is our duty and our responsibility to ensure that every month we remit that minimum monthly contributions as envisaged in our Sacco bylaws. That is our membership obligation that we have at Maisha Bora Sacco. Now sometimes things happen. Pengine unajipata kwamba kwa miezi kadhaa haujaweza kutoa yale ambayo unafaa kutoa kila mwezi. So ukizidi hivyo ukikakaa kidogo, your account inaenda kwa ile status tunaita dormant account. So dormant account inamaanisha ya kwamba kile kiwango ambacho inafaa uko unatoa kila mwezi hakijafika. Umekaa miezi kadhaa bila kutoa 1,700 on the minimum side, because it's our duty, it's our responsibility, it is our obligation as members of Maisha Bora Sacco. So dormant just means that for several months, over 6 months, you've not been remitting your monthly contributions in the Sacco. And active membership means that wewe ni yule mwanachama ambaye kila mwezi unatoa hicho kiwango ambacho kinahitajika uweze kutoa kila mwezi. So you are an active member of the Sacco. You are making your monthly contributions of 1,700 every month. So that is the difference between a dormant member and an active member. So the line is drawn between your monthly contributions in the Sacco. So now, why should you stay to be an active member of the Sacco? Being active gives you all the benefits that are found in the Sacco. Accessibility to the different loan products that we offer at Maisha Bora Sacco. You get the ability to be guaranteed and also to act as a guarantor to another member. You get an opportunity to practice your democratic member control through making decisions and also electing leaders who will be able to lead us. Supposing you are a dormant member, you cannot be able to get those benefits. So just as we move on, I can see quite a number of us are joining us right now. Karibuni sana, tujisikie hapa Maisha Bora Sacco, tunapoadhimisha hii siku muhimu sana ya our SGM Special General Meeting 2025. Tuko pamoja, sivyo? If you can still hear me, kindly let us wave at one another. Tuungane, tuungane. It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. Kuna watu sisikizi sauti zao. Ni kuchoka ama ni safari, sivyo? Tunapotulia kidogo kidogo, tutazidi kuzungumza, tukielimishana masuala kadha wa kadha, na ningependa kuwaomba sana tujisikie nyumbani, tujisikie huru, tujisikie kuwa wanachama wa Maisha Bora Sacco. SGM, SGM, tuungane, tuungane. Asanteni sana. So kwa wale ambao ndiposa tumeingia wakati huu, tumeongea kuhusu GFE, tukasema ya kwamba GFE, it's a finance that gives you the ability to be able to cater for the expenses in the unlikely event that something happens to you as a principal member, to your spouse, to your children, and also to your parents, as well as the parents-in-law. What you need to do to ensure that you benefit from GFE is to make sure that you have declared those people on the membership registration form. If you didn't get the opportunity to declare them during registration, we have what we call membership update form, that at any given time, your status changes, then you as a member, you have the duty, you have the responsibility, you have the obligation to update your records with the Sacco. Tuungane, asanteni. Now, whenever making a claim for GFE, there are requirements. Kuna stakabadhi ambazo tutahitaji kutoka kwako. Stakabadhi ya kwanza ni what we call the claim form. Ile form ambayo utafill for making the claim. In addition to that form, we will need a copy of your identification card, your ID card, or in the event that you already surrendered the ID to the government, then we have what we call the surrender letter, ambayo tutahitaji, na vile tutahitaji stakabadhi ambayo inaitwa burial permit ama death certificate, na vile tutataka kujua the proof of the relationship that you have with the deceased person. If it's a marriage certificate, if it's a birth certificate, if it's an affidavit where applicable. Na vile tutahitaji ya kwamba ndiposa uweze kubenefit from GFE, all those dependents ukue umewadeclare kwa sacco within 90 days. So as a member, you must always ensure that you have updated your records with the sacco. So for GFE, you only qualify if you declared the dependents within 90 days from the occurrence of the unlikely event. Tuko pamoja sivyo? Aya, tumeweza kuzungumzia masuala ya you being an active member and being a dormant member. So being an active member, it means that your monthly remittances to the sacco are up to date. Wewe ni mwanachama ambaye unawajibika kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mwezi unatoa kile kiwango ambacho kinahitajika wewe uweze kutoa kama mwanachama wa Maisha Bora Sacco. Being dormant inamaanisha ya kwamba haujawajibika kama mwanachama, pengine kwa sababu moja ama nyingineyo, umekaa miezi kadha wa kadha kabla haujatoa kile kiwango cha chini zaidi ambacho unahitajika kutoa kama wewe mwanachama wa Maisha Bora Sacco. Tumeweza kusema ya kwamba kila mwezi tunahitajika kutoa kiwango cha shilingi 1,700. Katika kiwango hicho, shilingi 1,000 huenda kwa your share deposits ama your savings in the sacco. Shilingi 500 huwekwa kwa what we call share capital ama your shares in the sacco. Then lastly, shilingi 200 huwekwa kwa GFE ama benevolent fund. So that is how the 1,700 is distributed on your membership account whenever you make your monthly contributions to the sacco. Na tumesema ya kwamba in the event that you become a dormant member in the sacco, there are quite a number of things that you stand to lose. Number one, you miss that rare opportunity to grow your savings in the sacco. Then, the other item that you lose is the access to credit, because with our competitive credit facilities, you can talk about the development loan on a mobile that gives you up to 90% of your share deposits. You repay within 72 months at an interest rate of only 1% at a reducing balance. Then the other development loan, long-term, that you get up to 5 times your share deposits in the sacco. You repay after 84 months. That is a duration of 7 years at an interest rate of only 1% at a reducing balance. So vile tungependa kuwafahamisheni, najua wengi wetu tunajua ya kwamba unaweza ukapata mkopo kupitia kwa njia ya rununu through your mobile phone. We have mobile phone loan products that you can be able to access up to 90%, 50% and 25% of your share deposits. Now, kama wewe ni mwanachama na bado haujajiandikisha kwa huduma yetu ya USSD, that is *470#, unahitajika ya kwamba uweze kuregister by filling our M-Sacco registration form. So you come to the sacco, we can also send the form to you, and you make sure that you have registered your number to our M-Sacco services so that you may be able to access our USSD code *470#. Once you register, we shall send you a one-time password, after which you will be required to set your own password that you will be using going forward. Tuungane. SGM. SGM. It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's na. Asanteni sana. So kwa haraka sasa tutaweza, we are almost winding up this first segment, na kuna maswali kidogo kidogo ambayo tumeweza kujiuliza mara kwa mara. Swali la kwanza ni kwa nini unahitaji kuregister to our M-Sacco services? It's because for you to access our USSD code, you need to register as a member to our M-Sacco services. That is why huwa tunawauliza kama members, in the event that you are not yet registered to our M-Sacco services, you only need to fill the M-Sacco registration form. Kuna what we call members portal. Members portal can be accessed through our Sacco website, whereby you register on the members portal, ambapo you can access a full monthly statement for your account. So instead of calling the Sacco, you can register to the members portal, then you'll be able to access the statement. Then the star 470, you need to register, and also we shall send to you what we call a one-time password. So I can see we are almost ready, and we have winded up on that particular first segment. So we are preparing now to begin officially our session. For those of us joining us right now, feel most welcome once again. Feel at Maisha Bora Sacco, tuungane kwa Maisha Bora. SGM, SGM, tuungane, tuungane. Asanteni sana, naona tumechangamka, tuko tayari kwa huu mkutano wetu maalum, our SGM 2025. Once again, it's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's na. Asanteni sana. Na iwapo umeweza kufika hapa na pengine hukupata nafasi ya kujisajilisha huko nje, tutaomba ya kwamba make sure you've registered yourself so that when we shall be making the transport facilitation, then we'll be able to get it through your FOSA account. So registering is very important, just to ensure that we are able to capture your attendance today to our special general meeting 2025. The immediate entrance on your left. So when you enter inside that building, the first place is for the ladies, then the next one far to the right is for the gentlemen. So feel free, in case you want to send an SMS, you want to make a call, then feel free to use that particular place where there is a 5G network connection that will be able to give us our seamless services. So thank you so much. Once again, let us feel at Maisha Bora Sacco during our special general meeting, the year 2025. So we are now we are almost starting the other segment of our session today, and we shall have the national anthem, then the East African anthem will be played through the studio, and then there is a song that tulijifunza during our AGM on 1st of March. So we shall also be singing that song. You will only be responding. So we will start with that song. After that, we shall have our national anthem, then the East African anthem, and then lastly, we shall have another session of prayer. So once again, I'll ask our pastor, Ndugu Suleimani, ataweza kutuombea once again. So nitaomba pengine tusimame kidogo, tumekuwa tumeketi kwa muda. So tusimame tuchangamke, ndiposa siku yetu iwe yenye kufaa sana. Aya. So our part will just be to respond. And this is how we are going to respond, the way you did during our annual general meeting, just as we now prepare to start officially. Tutasema hivi: tuungane kwa maisha bora, Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Tunaweza jaribu hivyo, sivyo? Haya, 1, 2, 3. Tuungane kwa maisha bora, Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Sasa tusisimame tu, we can go. Tuungane kwa maisha bora, Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Tunajaribu hivyo ndio tupate hiyo morali ya kwanza, si ndio? Kuendelea na hii siku yetu maalum sana ya our SGM 2025. Tuungane. Haya, twende kazi. Tuungane kwa maisha bora, Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Mungu wetu twakushukuru, siku ya leo umetufika hapa kwetu leo. Tuungane kwa maisha bora, Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Siku ya leo twakushukuru, wanachama wetu wa Sacco yetu, kutujalia nguvu kuwa hapa. Michael Muhanda akituongoza, pamoja na Janet Gadere, wanabodi wote wako imara. Sisi kama wanachama wa leo twakushukuru kwa Sacco yetu hii, utujalie nguvu zako hii leo. Tuungane kwa maisha bora, ni Sacco yetu tunayoipenda. Hebu na tujipigieni makofi. It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's na SGM. Asanteni sana. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa na wimbo wa taifa, kisha Wimbo wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, tukianza na wimbo wa taifa. Kwa hivyo studio, mnaweza kutuongoza kwa wimbo wa taifa. Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki. Shukrani sana.
Na hata mashambani tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tulijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Shukran. Ningependa kumwomba ndugu Suleimani uweze kutuongoza kwa maombi.
Let's bow for prayer. Our Father and our God, in the mighty name of Jesus, we want to thank you and we want to glorify you for enabling us to gather in such a manner. And thank you, Jehovah God, because, Lord, we can look back, Lord, in faith and in gratitude and testify of your love and your faithfulness. Lord, we are not the way we began 50 years ago. But, Jehovah God, we have continued to see your gracious hand upon us, King of glory, as a circle, Lord, as members, Lord, even as the stakeholders, Lord, who has continued to support this business, King of glory. We commit the agenda of the day to you, King of glory. Heavenly Father, Lord, your word declares that the horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. This day was just planned, but Jehovah God, you are the one who have made it to come to fruition. We commit the program of the day to you. And Lord, even them that are on the way coming and they purpose to be in this meeting, that Lord, you hasten their steps. Be glorified and be exalted. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much. Just while we are still standing, now we want to get the psych for the meeting, sivyo? So tutaulizana yale maswala ambayo tumeulizana tayari, kisha tutaanza hafla ya pili ya mkutano huu wa leo. It's nice to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wonderful to be at Maisha Bora Sacco. It's wa, it's na. SGM, SGM, tujipigeni makofi. Asanteni sana. Tunaweza kuketi na wale ambao mko nyuma tungeomba kwamba mngeketi kwa hizi viti za mbele, ingekuwa sawa zaidi. Asanteni sana, and we thank God for his graces and mercy. Asanteni.
Hi. Hamjambo tena. Shukran sana Bwana Emmanuel kwa kutuongoza na kutuchangamsha. Wale ambao wako nje naomba muharakishe tu ili ndio tuweze kuanza hii mkutano. And I think I know most of you don't know who's seated next to you. So as a gesture, salimianeni. Na wale ambao wanataka kunijua kujeni hapa mnisalimie. So simameni tusalimiane ili tuchangamke. We are free. Jared, salamu zako sio pesa mingi, kuja unisalimie. Nyambura, peace. Habari yenu, mnaweza tasalimia ama director huku mbele ili muweze kuwajua, waulize wanatoka wapi, ni nini. Changamkeni, na wale wako nje tafadhali tuharakishe. Na nyinyi mbona mnisalimii? Simameni bana. Hamjambo. Bwana Peter, sasa habari yako? Yes, hamjambo. Salimieni hapa huku mbele. Haya. Endeleeni kusalimiana hapa. Patiana kipaza sauti ili kizunguke katika hawa wakurugenzi wa bodi wenzangu. So I think the microphone is there. I'll allow the board directors to introduce themselves, those who are here. Directors? Ama wewe si director? Popote. Ama uko nyuma? And then the guests, and then I'll let the CEO introduce his team. Go on, Mr. Ngeno.
Good morning, members. My name's Geoffrey Ngeno, Chair of Supervisory Committee. You are highly welcome to this function and feel at home. Thank you very much.
Mungu ni mwema na kila wakati. Kwa majina ni Ann Wanjiru. I'm in the Supervisory Committee Secretary. Karibuni sana.
Good morning. Karibuni members. Jina langu naitwa Kenneth Muriuki, Member Supervisory Committee. Asanteni.
Good morning members. Hamjambo members. Now I recognize wote. Na sa our former chair, nimemuona mahali, Mr. Naibei. Thank you so much. And many other honorable members. Mi naitwa Peter Sigada, ni chairman wa Audit Committee katika board. Audit and Risk Committee. Asante sana.
Ukifanya Google Translate ya Audit and Risk, inasema sijui hatari na maono. So, hivyo ndio inasemanga, but mkaguzi wa vitabu, lakini kwa Kiswahili ile tu rahisi.
Good morning, members. My name is Janet Gadere. I'm the Vice Chair of the Board and the Chair of Credit Committee. Karibuni.
Credit Committee kwa Kiswahili ni mikopo, sivyo? Kamati ya mikopo.
Hamjambo members. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Tusalimiane hewani. Asante. Kwa majina naitwa George Wafula nikiwa treasurer. Treasurer ina
mweka hazina.
You are sure? Oh, okay. Okay, sawa.
Niseme mwenye pesa.
Asante.
Amjambo washirika wenzangu. Kwa majina Simon Arunga ni Honorable Secretary. Sijui kwa Kiswahili sayo ni gani?
Katibu mheshimiwa.
Katibu mheshimiwa. Na katika committees
muangalie
ninakaa katika ile amesema inaitwa hatari, audit and
ukaguzi wa vitabu.
Ukaguzi. Asanteni sana, karibuni.
Haya, nitakaribisha wageni wangu, wengine wako njiani. Ndaanza kule nyuma na Madam Catherine, jitambulishe kutoka the Commissioner's Office.
All right. Good morning. My name is Catherine Murioki from the Ministry of Cooperatives. Thank you.
Haya, na pia tuko na wakili wetu ambaye anatufunza mambo za kisheria. Ndamkaribisha Madam Eunice, ujitambulishe kwa umati huu.
Hamjambo nyote. Lumala Eunice, wakili. Asante sana.
Okay. Kwa Kiswahili Eunice anaitwa aje? Kayuna.
Kuna chairman. Ayuni.
Sawa. Sawa, shukran, tuwape makofi hao wenye wamejitambulisha. Na baada ya hii nitauliza swali, mwenye anakumbuka jina zao atapata zawadi kutoka kwangu. Kuna wengine, madirekta wengine wetu wako njiani. Haswa bwana Vitalis Odora akikuja atajitambulisha. Marian DC, Joseph Kiando ambaye yuko Uhabeshi wakati huu angeweza kuwasili, na bwana Felix Maengi ambaye pia ako njiani. Naam. Nitamkaribisha the Honorary Secretary ili achukue mkutano kutoka hapa. Oh, samahani. Naona nimeangaliwa vibaya. Bwana Odongo, chukua kipaza sauti.
Hamjambo washirika. Hamjambo tena. Kwa majina ni Gregory Odongo Siro. Mimi ndio nasimamia wale staff wanawapatia huduma, na ni furaha yangu kuwa na nyinyi siku ya leo. Mwenyekiti, ukikubali huwa sifanyi kazi peke yangu. Ningeomba pia wale tunashirikiana nao, yani wale managers, waweze kujitambulisha, ndipo ukitutembelea kule at least unajua watu ambao wako pale kwa kutoa huduma. Tutaanza na wewe.
Hamjambo washirika. Kwa majina naitwa Purity Ntoiti, mimi ni mhasibu, finance manager.
Hamjambo members. Kwa majina ni Mary Waithera Muthoni, human resource na Kiswahili sijui. Mwandiki na mfutu sijui.
Ati? Samahani, hebu rudia tafadhali.
Kuandikana na kufutana.
Atiwa?
Ndio the easiest way ya kuexplain.
Atiwa kuandikana na?
Kuandikana na kufuta.
We, unajipea jina mbaya lakini ni sawa.
Hamjambo washirika. Mimi naitwa Steven Njoroge Solomon, mimi ndio internal audit and risk manager.
Good morning. Habari ya leo. Jina ni Stanley Kahure, nasimamia pande ya mikopo, credit manager. Asanteni na karibu.
Good morning members. Hamjamboni washirika. Kwa majina naitwa Eliud Mbae. Mimi ndio manager business development and customer experience. Karibuni sana kwa hii siku.
Habari zenyu members. Kwa majina naitwa Ruth Asagi, mimi ndio nasimamia branch Maisha Bora pale KTDA CBD. Karibuni.
Sasa kuna mmoja wetu anashughulikia mitambo kule nje, hajaweza kuja hapa mbele, anaitwa Victor Oyengo, yeye ndiye ICT manager.
Bas, asante sana. Kuna mwingine tumesahau? Wote wamejumuishwa. Basi nitamkaribisha our honorary secretary to confirm the presence of a quorum. So honorary secretary, over to you.
Okay, jambo tena. Naona leo ni kama tumeamua kuchukua lugha ya taifa, lakini hiyo lugha ya taifa sometimes inakuwa ngumu kidogo. Now, the quorum for an SGM under our bylaw requires a presence of 200 members or 25% of the total membership, which is 25 of 15,214, which equals to 3,803 being present. So whichever is lower can do. So for now, I confirm we have our quorum that we can proceed. That is, we have registered 483 members present. Thank you, Chair.
Asante sana. So being a quorum of members present, I want to declare the meeting duly convened. Asanteni. Moving on, part of this meeting for today, outside listening to our budgets, is also a hint of member education. Okay, I've seen some gentlemen walking in. Just quiz ukiona watu na suti unaogopa kama ni DCI ama. So perhaps wapatie kipaza sauti wale ambao hawajajitambulisha.
Karibuni wageni wetu.
Mjitambulishe tu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Peter Wanjohi, Deputy Commissioner for Cooperative Development.
Good morning. Maurice Gidhui, an Assistant Commissioner for Cooperative Development.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And I think one of our directors has just come in.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Vitalis Oduor, Director, Maisha Bora Sacco. Karibuni.
Okay, so as I was saying, as part of our program, we want to do a small element of member education. I think Emmanuel has done a fantastic job giving us how we manage our GFEs, registering for the SACCO, and making sure everything is important. But today, one of the discussion items is on going to the delegate system. And we are pleased or privileged to have our legal experts, that is Eunice Lumala, to come and address the meeting. So, Madam Eunice, karibu.
Tuliambiwa jina langu ni Ayuna. We have adopted Ayuni, I think. Thank you very much. So, SACCO imefanya training. I think they've been training you a bit about a new system, a new member system of engagement. So, kuna ile member system kama ile sasa mko hapa at an SGM, okay, special general meeting, na kuna zile huwa zinakuwa annual general meeting, but kuna ile system ambapo nimeona SACCO under the leadership that you have of the board and the executive office has been training you about preferred method of engagement, which is the delegate system. Wale ambao mmekuwa kwa hiyo training, and I don't know whether I can ask by a show of hands, any of you participated either online, hizo training ambazo zimekuwa? Any of you? Siogope. Yeah, so basically, First of all, just allow me to thank you, because for a Sacco to have been in place for over 50 years, isn't that amazing? It is. I mean, it shows there's some solid foundation in this Sacco. So basically, the reason why we are moving towards a Sacco system is due to a directive from the Commissioner's office. And I see representatives of the Commission, the Commissioner's office are here. The deputy, I think is a deputy, and an officer from that office are here. And this directive was issued earlier this year, I believe in June, ambapo walisema zile Sacco ambazo ziko na members over 5,000. Ni vizuri zikuwa na elections, zitengeneze zones. Alafu kukue na elections katika hizo zones ama branches. Na wale ambao watakuwa elected in those zones or branches will be now your voice, will be representing you at an annual delegates meeting. Sijui kama tuko pamoja so far. Are we together? Yeah, so basically a directive from the Cooperatives Commissioner, which directive was issued this year, na tukaambiwa compliance inafaa kukua within 6 months. So within those 6 months, it's also good for you members to understand hii delegate system ni gani, inasema nini, and how will it affect us? Will it affect our bottom line? Na wale mko kwa Sacco, si mnaelewa bottom line ni nini? Sorry. I don't know whether I can just leave it here. Yeah. Your bottom line is that you have become members of this family called Maisha Bora Sacco. And I really enjoyed the song that was played here this morning by Mr. Emmanuel. He seems to be a multi-talented officer. Once you're a member of a Sacco, it becomes like your home, sindio? So it's good for you to understand your bottom line is your money is here. You can access certain services. You have a right to information relating to how your money is used. You have a right to know if the Sacco is growing, if that Sacco is being managed properly. You understand? And in the wisdom of the commissioner, Sacco zile zimeanza kukua kubwa sana. You know, there is no limitation, isn't it, in terms of members? Tuko na Sacco, sijui kama mnajua ama mjui, ambazo ziko na membership inaendelea inapita nearly over 150,000 members. So even Maisha Bora Sacco is expected to grow and grow everywhere, in all corners of Kenya. I hope all of you talk to people about Maisha Bora. And then also in the diaspora. You know, you have also members like you, wale mnakuwa members mko hapa, especially the younger members. Alafu labda mnapata kazi kule majuu, you go out, you still continue to be Maisha Bora Sacco members, because I hope everyone who goes out there always has a need to come back here. So all Saccos with members that are over 5,000 going forward, as per the directive, are required to now have delegates representing members, okay, in annual delegates meeting. So what are we saying? We are saying we will no longer be having annual general meetings as we know them. We'll be having an annual delegates, tuko pamoja? Annual delegates meeting. Now wale delegates ni delegates wenyu. They are among you people. And they will be coming to the Sacco at the headquarter level to represent your interest. So these are people that would be obviously among you. In terms of how the Sacco will be organized, it will be good to know what kind of person do you want to represent you. What are some of the criteria of picking your delegates to represent you? What will be the zones? Okay, so as a board, it is expected that the board will draw like a map. Umeona? Umechora map, umesema hii ndio Sacco yetu. Members wa Nairobi ni wa hawa, this number. Members wa Bungoma, members wa UK, members wa Kisumu, Kiambu. These are the members we have. So how do we then break it down to branches or zones? So for example, kama kuna Nairobi branch ama zone, lazima mkae chini muangalie, how many delegates do we need to have in Nairobi and why? So there was the first aspect of this as who do we need as our delegate. Perhaps the SACCO will then, with your own, because you are the members of the SACCO, you own the SACCO, you will decide. For us to have a delegate, huyu delegate lazima akue mtu amejitolea kwa hiyo SACCO. Labda tuseme mtu ambaye ako na shares fulani, labda 200,000, you know, kama criteria, ama ni shareholder fulani, ama ni mtu ambaye anaelewa bylaws, anajua hizi laws zetu vizuri, anaweza ongea na sisi, mtu anapatikana. Si ati mtafute delegate ambaye kumpata ni shida, kuongea na yeye ni shida. Ni yule mtu ambaye amejitolea, anapenda hii SACCO, ana support nyinyi as members, anaweza waongelesha kuhusu products, anaweza ongea juu ya SACCO, alete more members. So in terms of criteria, I think we are together. It's important to decide which would be a good delegate and what is the criteria. Also, as members, you need to know that once you get this delegate, mnakuwa na some level of elections. Sasa wale wenye mko Nairobi delegates, kama imesemekana watakuwa 60 members or 70 members, one delegate, because ile directive ya ministry pale inasema there should be no more than 500 delegates. So lazima mujipange. Delegates hawawezi pita, minimum ni 150 delegates, maximum ni 5. Are we together? Maximum ni ngapi? 500. Thank you very much. So I want us to move together. So 500 delegates. So basically mkiamua Nairobi, tukiwa watu 60, tunachagua delegate moja. Na kama ni watu maybe over 1,000, you'll have several delegates in Nairobi, sivyo? So lazima mkue na elections zenu. Na mkiwa na elections zenu, mchague wale delegates wa Nairobi, they will have to come together, wakue hao representatives wenu wa Nairobi, wenye mmechagua as your delegates. Atafadhali mkichagua watu, kukue na mix mzuri, si ndio? Youth, persons with disability, women, ama vipi? Tafadhali. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha wote mjitokeze, ambao naona hapa kumekuwa na watu, nimekuwa nikiobserve, wale wanakaa, they are really bona fide members, mnapenda hii SACCO. So come up and put your name forward as delegates as well, so that you can represent the SACCO. So ni wale delegates ambao mume-elect ndio wata-attend annual delegates meetings and special meetings. And it's from these delegates that you'll also have board members. So it's important to know the criteria, the character of the person you are appointing. Under the delegate system, we now know that because these are going to be the people representing you, so that you will not have the general meetings as you knew them. Of course, at your branch, you'll be having meetings. Ambapo mnakaa mnasema, sisi hapa kwa hii branch, tuko na hii issue. Maybe tunasumbuka na mtu fulani, hatuwezi, tuko na hii shida. Ama hata wewe as a member, you should be able to tell your delegate, tafadhali unaweza nisaidia. Saizi niko na shida fulani kwa hilo. Nama, any questions you have, you should be able to reach your delegate. Mnaongea naye, and then your delegate at the general meeting anaweza articulate whatever issues you have in a better way. One of the rationale of having the delegate system, and this can come better from the commissioner's office, is that having annual general meetings for such big SACCOs sometimes was becoming chaotic. You can picture this. A meeting with all delegates coming for the meeting, na wako na members 100,000. You picture that. Can there even be proper focus on the issues? Sometimes there can be, but sometimes the issues are lost in the noise. And sometimes people, because anybody who is keen on, of course elections are important, but sometimes you find that some of those SACCOs, it becomes difficult to start deliberating on issues. Because issue moja inaweza kuwa raised, alafu maybe ijakuwa understood or whatever. So it becomes a bit chaotic. And SACCOs over time, honestly speaking, at least the ones, some of them I have seen, were becoming more and more chaotic in terms of organizing issues, so that people focus on where are we going as a SACCO, how is this governance, are we going the right way? But like I said, we'll get a better explanation from the Commissioner's office as to the rationale of that system. Now, what else can we say about the SACCO? So we expect that it will be easier to focus on issues. I would like to tell you that several SACCOs have been doing this and implementing it, and they are actually doing well, and we can also learn lessons from them. We expect that, and I've talked about a bit of the role of a delegate and what they need to be. If you have any questions, you can raise. But you expect somebody who is completely engaged. They will follow the statements. They will follow the bylaws. And they will also help you understand some of these issues. And eventually, your leaders at the board will come from the pool of the delegates. Now, a delegate should also be someone who is good in dispute resolution, because the SACCOs are going to devolve into zones and branches. There may be issues, because pale kwa zone lazima simkwe na elections zenu. There could be issues arising out of those elections. So we hope that as we are moving to amend the bylaws, because that has to be done, that then we will have a system to resolve disputes at that level before they are escalated to the headquarters at the board level. What else can we say about the delegate system? You will agree, as the bylaws are being amended, the frequency of elections and how long someone should hold office, and whether it should be on rotation or not. Obviously, it's best, in my view, that members who are elected as delegates hold office on rotation basis. That way, wale wanatoka kwa, as representatives or delegates, at least there are those who remain, who understand how the system works, and they are able to take people through. There's a presentation I had made earlier, and I hope it can be made available to those who wish to have it. The delegate system is anchored in the law. As we all know, cooperatives is a movement that has really helped to grow this economy. It is recognized in our Constitution of Kenya. The Cooperative Acts, this delegate system is not inconsistent with the law, and therefore it's something that we ought to embrace as members. Now, the delegate system is also not going to take away any of your rights. Ukiangalia bylaws za SACCO ya Maisha Bora, tuko pamoja, mtapata hizo bylaws inasema, please members give all your details. Alafu tupe email, tupe number, so that the SACCO keeps communicating with you. Therefore, it doesn't mean that any of your rights will be denigrated, or they will be looked down on. You'll be a lesser member than the delegate. Not at all. All your rights as a person who has shares, who can transfer shares, who can borrow, who can actually get any information you need, still subsist. It's only now that you have a mouthpiece in the name of a delegate. And this mouthpiece ought to be able to represent your interest. That means that mouthpiece must be able to know your interest and give you timely feedback after they attend the annual delegates meeting. So there have to be active channels of communication, hopefully better use of internet, so that you can be able to know what was the feedback from the annual delegates meeting. What did they say? Did you make sure you have represented what we wanted you to represent on our behalf? So basically, because the delegate system is not there in your bylaws, we expect that we will move to amend your bylaws to provide for the delegate system, to provide for the zones, which Maisha Bora will be able to create, to provide even for a criteria, minimum criteria of a delegate, okay? And perhaps also to encourage diversity in the formation of, in the election of the delegates. So if that is done and the bylaws are approved, there will obviously, a copy will be taken to the Commissioner's office to have a look at it. And then you can move into that system. So perhaps today may not happen again, as you know it, as a special general meeting. So it's almost like a bittersweet meeting, because it's expected that going forward, you will have delegates attending such meetings on your behalf, to speak on your behalf. I think I can stop there. Just to add that it's expected that there ought to be, and maybe this would be after a year or so, you need to go back and ask, has this delegate system served us, or it has not served us as members? Is this delegate system working for us as Maisha Bora, or it is not? Because it's expected to increase your efficiency, you know, in terms of understanding things, giving feedback, holding annual meetings. It's supposed to lower costs for the Sacco. And if costs are lowered generally, it's for your benefit, because you expect that you can get perhaps better dividends. Stronger accountability, it's expected that it will enhance accountability if they are able to engage more intimately with your issues and also with what's happening at the board. And finally, all your rights are expected to be protected under that system as well. So, don't know how many minutes I'm left with, because we started late. Bwana CEO? Okay. So just to differentiate the systems, as you knew it, AGMs, all members attend. Under delegate system, delegates do what? Attend the system. Members voted in annual general members meeting, or SGMs like today. But going forward, it will be the delegates you elect that will vote on your behalf. So we expect that the issues of costs and logistics will also be easier for the Sacco going forward. Under the SGM, like today, when we ask all questions, everyone would speak for themselves. But under the ADM delegate system, the delegate will speak for you. Accountability is obviously direct in the member system, but in the delegate system, it is expected that these delegates are accountable for the zones which they represent. So if your zone is working effectively, you will know that you have a good who? A good delegate, because obviously it's important to look at performance. Which zone is performing best? Which delegate is very popular and members are happy with that delegate and what they're doing for them? Because for you as your member, remember your bottom line is your funds, you're able to access your loan, you're able to have a Sacco that is understanding of your situation, that communicates with you. If you have a delegate who ensures this is done, then you have succeeded in your delegate. So I think I should be able to leave it there and invite questions from, sorry?
Later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in case there are questions later. But just allow me before I sit down, Executive Director and board members, some of the fears people have had with the delegate system is that how do we know if there can be a disconnect between our delegate and the members, the delegate and the members? How do we know if the delegate can be hijacked by other interests and no longer represent our interests? Will it really reduce the costs? So those are some of the questions that have been asked. And I think those fears have been addressed previously. And you can reflect on them for later, I believe. So allow me to stop there. Allow me to stop there and just, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay, let's give Madam Eunice Lumalas a better hand clap. She's just done a good job in as far as touching base with the delegate system. So we'll allow you to build up your questions because the experts or members of the Commissioner's office are around. So at that particular juncture, that's when we'll now deliberate more on the delegate system. I now want to invite the Honorary Secretary to take up.
Thank you. Mine here is simple, just read the notice for this meeting. And there I read. Thank you, Chairman. The notice for this meeting was issued and dated 19th September 2025 and was circulated to the members on 19th September 2025. The main business for today is number 1, member education. Number 2, confirmation of minutes of the previous special general meeting held on 27th October 2024. Number 3, matters arising from the previous minutes. Number 4, chairman's remarks. Number 5, consideration and approval of the 2025 supplementary budget and the proposed budget for 2026. Number 6, consideration and approval of the proposed additional investment in Maisha Bora Ventures, PLC, to retain our current 41% equity stake. Item number 7, consideration of the government directive, circular number CCD/2025/001, on guidelines for delegate representation in general meeting of cooperatives. Number 8, any other business written to the any other business written notice to be submitted at least 10 days before the meeting. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, so can I get a proposer and a seconder so that we adopt that agenda? Can we get a proposer? Hey, kwani leo kunaenda? Yes, Jared, proposer. Seconder? Seconder, the gentleman with the text on hat. Please circulate the microphone so that they say their names and member number. Hakuna microphones.
Member 0011-0078, Jared Obure.
Thank you, Jared. And
I propose, sorry.
Okay. Seconder is this gentleman?
Jabu.
Jambo.
My name is Wilson Kibara, member number 0100-364. I hope I've remembered the number properly.
If you're not sure, maybe can we get another seconder? Seconder, if he's not sure. Seconder, for the, yeah, there.
I'm Jambo, Alexander Wanyonyi, member number 00100-161.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Alexander. Now, we move on to confirm the minutes of the SGM of the meeting held on 27th October 2024. I want to take that the minutes as being read, and therefore, I want to request a proposer and a seconder for the minutes. So can we get a proposer and a seconder? Proposer? Eh, kwani leo what's happening? Proposer? Nyuma wapi? I can see a hand behind there. Manuel, run with the mic, or whoever has the mic. Inua mkono tafadhali, mwenye alikuwa ameinua.
Habari zenu.
Nzuri sana.
Samson Kwanzo, member number 001 091 93.
You are proposing?
Yeah, I propose.
Okay. Seconder? Okay, in front here. But in case you see somebody behind, you can give. Please get more mics. Up and bell.
Beji Ofafa, member number 104672.
You, seconder? Okay, thank you, Ambrose. Ofafa. Now, we move on. We are to address the matters arising from the minutes of the meeting held on 27th October. All those issues are printed in your booklet, and some of them will be addressed in my speech. So I think just go through it and be sure that in case there's anything which has not been addressed, you can call it out as I speak. Now, you will have received a printed copy of the 2025 SGM booklet as you enter the meeting, and I hope you have all had time to read the report. And now, allow me to present my speech for this special general meeting. Okay. So, greetings to our esteemed shareholders, fellow board directors, valued colleagues, and honored guests. It is with great respect that I extend a warm welcome to each of you as we convene this special general meeting. Karibuni. The primary purpose of our assembly today is to engage in critical discussions regarding our organizational budgets and governance structures, matters that are foundational to the sustainability and advancement of our institution. Likewise, I want to thank all of you for your unwavering trust and support, and want to urge you to continue with that spirit as we position our institution for greater achievements. I always like to give a hint of our business performance thus far, up till end of August. So as we advance through our agenda, I would like to draw your attention to the critical task of understanding comprehensively our business performance results. This is essential for seeing how effectively we have executed our strategies and for identifying both strengths and capitalizing on them as we explore new ways for improvement. By analyzing our performance data, we gain valuable insights that will inform our future planning and help us stay aligned with our organizational goals. In your booklets, I think there are two graphs which you can see there, just main indicators, which are the loan book, deposits, total income, the membership, asset book, and our expenses, which I've highlighted as being growing faster than our income. Now, from the information provided, we see a slight growth in member borrowing, i.e. compared to last year's August, same time. However, the gap between member deposits and loans is narrowing. Thus, the need to encourage ourselves to further increase our monthly contributions. We are also seeing a growth in our loan book by 9%, but this is not translating into a similar growth rate on the total income, since our members have opted for more long-term loans. Our expenses continue to grow largely driven by direct member activities, and this is a line we need to watch so as to guarantee better shareholder value by having a robust expense containment strategy or approach. I also want to encourage you to continue building up your share capital so as to lift the upper loan borrowing limit of 10% of the Sacco's core capital. With this in place, we will be able to encourage the development of even better yielding borrowing products and support you to explore bigger business investment ideas. On the same space, I want to encourage members who have not hit the 35,000 share capital limit to work towards meeting that threshold. And those who have met the upper limit, which is Kenya shillings 1 million, we will now be proposing that you can even go beyond that. Now, I want to pause for a moment and maybe just throw 1 or 2 or 3 questions to those members who have been keen and following on. How much do you think is our Sacco core capital as we speak right now? Anybody with a rough figure? Anybody? 1.5 billion, yeah, close but not close, but not correct. Anybody? don't want to ask huko nyuma because wengi ni wageni. But we are currently approaching 2 billion in as far as our core capital. So that means basically the highest loan we can give is 10% of that core capital. And all of us, I think, those ones who have not hit the 35,000 minimum shareholding, we are looking at about 3,571 members that have not hit that amount. And I'm encouraging also those members who haven't met the 35K to please do so, I think, before the close of the year, so at least we are even inching closer and allowing better borrowing limits. Us as a board, we have also encouraged members, if you look at the graph, between February and March, it was the one which had the steepest gain in as far as share capital, mainly because of the incentive that we offered in the plowback. I think we generated almost about 23 million. Members actually plowed back 23 million, which is a good sign in the sense that we believe in this institution and we want this institution to grow. So I'd ask you to clap for yourselves for that gesture that you did. Now, just for those who love statistics or those who love numbers, if all active members just added an extra 10,000 shillings to the core capital, this one will actually give us almost another extra 150 million, making us inch closer. And you know, this is a number where the regulator is actually watching us to ensure that we hit that core capital and make sure that our SACCO is sustainable in the long run. So tutafakari hayo wakati tunazidi kukopa. As we speak even right now, the average shares that I think Emmanuel spoke about, minimum contribution is I think 1,700. Our members are actually doing much better. If we were to do an average saving per member is about 2,500 shillings that they contribute each and every month, which is a good step owing to the tough economic times that all of us are facing. So let us continue growing our savings to better safeguard and enhance our individual borrowing powers and guarantorship mechanisms, in addition to improving the SACCO's liquidity. Speaking more on this, I think the more we save, the more we can also guarantee each other. And the more you can equally borrow. And the more we are also liquid as an institution. That's why I'm saying, as we speak right now, we used to mobilize about, we are mobilizing about 37 million of your member savings, which I think is very, very, very good. And we need to, but I know we can do much, much better. So I think clap for yourselves again for that. So I think thus far we've talked about share capital, we've talked about savings, and I think those are the key driving elements. Our treasurer will elaborate more when it comes to drilling down on the numbers. Some of the major operational highlights for 2025 include enhanced product features on the mobile loans, where we have brought convenience by allowing you to borrow and repay loans directly from your mobile phones. And then 2, we have upgraded our development loan, where if you are eligible, you can access up to 5 times your deposits and a maximum repayment period of 84 months. Speaking more of the mobile loans, I think this is an area also of convenience, and we also are allowing members to equally do their development loans and co-guarantee each other via mobile, reducing the need for going to the office and also building up on convenience. 2, we have increased member education activities, where we held a total of 51 training sessions, culminating to 105 hours of interaction with our members. Previously, the only point of interaction with members just used to be SGM and AGM. But under SGM, AGM roughly was about 8 hours in a year. But now we have topped it up by 105 hours, and we are doing good. And I want to give my thumbs up to the team that runs it, led by Mr. Emmanuel. And situmpige makofi wa Emmanuel ndio. Next time, utaimba vizuri. We were the recipients of 2 awards, namely second best capitalized Tier 1 SACCO and third best Tier 1 SACCO in risk management, all in the medium-sized category of the Tier 1 SACCOs. I think outside also, we're being put on a yardstick and we're being scored in as far as our performance is concerned. So for being best capitalized, these things that I'm talking about, we can do even much, much better. For being the best in as far as risk management, I think we are doing much better, but we can also do much, much better. Ladies and gentlemen, as we progress on today's meeting, meticulous budget planning is indispensable for raising our strategic objectives and maintaining financial prudence. In recent months, our finance department has devoted considerable effort to analyzing expenditures, forecasting future requirements and identifying opportunities for optimal resource allocation with the ultimate goal of operational efficiency. During this session, the proposed budget for the forthcoming period will be presented in detail. We shall underscore the principal allocations and address any substantive deviations from previous fiscal cycles. Therefore, we need to approach the matter with a spirit of collective responsibility, ensuring that all perspectives are honestly considered. Through this collaborative process, we aspire to make judicious decisions that will serve the best interests of our organization as a whole. I therefore urge all present to engage constructively. I repeat, I therefore urge all present to engage constructively. Pose questions, offer insights, because we are not the experts in everything, but you, the members, know where the shoe hurts the most. And thoughtfully challenge prevailing assumptions where appropriate. The principles of transparency and open dialogue must be our running mantra in our deliberations as we seek to allocate our resources in a manner that is both wise and accountable. The next focal point of this meeting is on governance. We are all aware of the directive from the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development through the Commissioner that requires all cooperatives with more than 5,000 members to adopt a delegate system of representation in the general meetings. The number of delegates shall not be less than 150 and not more than 500. Update the Sacco bylaws to anchor the delegate system. Devise an effective mechanism to appraise the general meeting on the affairs of the Sacco. And 4, implement the above within 6 months by 18th December 2025. Of course, this directive is aimed at improving efficiency and effectiveness of holding general meetings pursuant to Section 93A, Section C of the Cooperative Societies Act, having taken cognizance of the vital role that cooperatives continue to play in our economy and the remarkable growth in membership over the years, which reflects the public confidence in the cooperative business model, according to the Commissioner. I also want to emphasize that we are in that ecosystem of the cooperative space. With 15,000 members, we are not immune to this directive. So therefore, it has come within our radar, and it's now time to act. So, my dear cooperators, exemplary governance practices are the cornerstone of any successful entity. I repeat, my dear cooperators, exemplary governance practices are the cornerstone of any successful entity. They guarantee ethical conduct, regulatory compliance, and accountability to stakeholders. Recent developments have reinforced the necessity of fortifying our governance frameworks to preserve our reputation and engender trust both internally and externally. As a board, we have actively engaged you through knowledge sessions led by various stakeholders critical to the Sacco movement. I believe Emmanuel has been championing all this, the education sessions on the delegate system. And these engagements were through the lenses of government practitioners, key industry leadership in the movement, and from a legal perspective. This has been done with the ultimate aim of making sure we understand the delegate system and reach a sound decision over our governance and annual general meeting structure. So we've played our part in as far as member education is concerned. We've had, I think, 3 sessions basis those lenses that I've told you. And the link again was provided so that you review and recap on what you may not have gotten correctly. And of course, more will be emphasized today. After this, we shall review our current governance provisions, adapt proposed amendments, and examine leading practices that may further refine our decision-making processes. Upholding the highest standards of integrity and transparency in all operations is not merely advisable, it is essential. I respectfully invite all members to participate actively in these discussions as your expertise and perspectives are invaluable to our shared progress. In conclusion, I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to all the active membership and the directors for your unwavering dedication and insightful contributions throughout this meeting. Also, the members of staff, I think I also want to appreciate you for the job well done. By the way, clap for yourself, Muki, appreciate you. Your steadfast commitment to our shared vision and your openness in engaging in critical matters have been instrumental in guiding our organization forward. Let us remain mindful of the many opportunities and the guidance we have received along the way. May God continue to bestow wisdom upon us and bless our collective endeavors. I look forward to our continued collaboration and the achievement of our common goals. Thank you very much. That speech was read to you by the chairman of the Sacco, that is Mr. Michael Muhanda. I forgot to introduce myself at the earlier onset, but that is my name. Asanteni sana. Mtaniwe radhi wale ambao walikuwa na tarajia nisome na lugha ya Kiswahili. Iko katika hizo vitabu zenyu, mnaweza ipitia. Na pia mtaniwe radhi hizo michoro sikuwa nimeyatafsiri, lakini I think they are self-explanatory hata ukitafsiri kwa lugha ya Kizungu. So, that is my speech for today. So I'll ask for reactions to the member speeches. I'll ask reactions to the speech, and thereafter ask for a proposer and a seconder to approve the speech. So, reactions. Ama maoni. Let us adopt that speech first. Can we adopt the speech by way of getting a proposer and a seconder? Yes, Judy, you want to propose? Where is the microphone today, you guys?
I propose.
Judy Nyambura, the member number? Ama inajulikana?
5447.
Okay, can we get a seconder? Can see there.
Regina Kina Mushiri, member number 001, 0010 4740.
Okay, thank you. Now, reactions. Sorry about that. I saw a hand up somewhere. Give to Judy Nyambura. Reactions to the speech, please.
My name is Judy Nyabula. I'm member number 5447. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to talk to you.
I'm listening.
You've read us something about a directive from the commissioner. But with all due respect, the SACCO belongs to members. And I would like to, as per how decisions are made in the cooperative movement of Kenya, I'd like to read the law. Article 47, Societies Act. Annual general meeting to be supreme organ. The annual general meeting of a cooperative society is established under the Cooperative Societies Act. Cap 490 shall be the supreme organ of a SACCO society. So I am not understanding exactly what is this directive about delegate system, because the members should be able to vote for it or against it. It is not for the commissioner or the ministry to decide. It is one member, one vote, and this is the law. If you go to the National Assembly, come back here and tell us the law has changed. You will tell us we must approve a directive from the ministry because the ministry has the ability to make decisions on behalf of these members. I am not opposed to delegate system, but I'm very good at representing myself, and I do not trust anybody to represent me. And I do not join a SACCO where delegates represent me. And one case scenario is Cusco. If you explain Cusco to me, because I'm a shareholder through Maisha Bora, and we collectively lost 13 billion because of some people who are misrepresenting us, I will understand. But for now, if you go to the National Assembly, you tell us that and you change the law, now we shall debate later.
Okay. Okay, you see, I was just reading a directive for the commissioner. You have reacted to it. The beauty is they're here. and they will give us the wisdom. But one thing I know, kutii sheria ni muhimu. So, and I believe the government has bestowed some powers to the commissioner to give directives one way or the other. And I want to avoid any, personally, I wouldn't want to be in that space where I'm battling with the government. Maybe let me just give some direction towards the reaction of my speech. The matter on delegates, there's a substantive agenda to be discussed on it. So just build up on your questions and we can ask at that particular juncture. Yes, give Bwana Sylvester.
Good morning, cooperators. My name is Gero 00100-529. I think this delegate thing is going to be a very emotive one. I think this one needs to come earlier so that we can think about it. Maybe if it's going to come much later, people will have thought about certain aspects of this delegate system. Me, I'm opposed to the delegate system. I'm saying it openly. For the size of Sacco and the way we are knit up, the delegate system is not going to be the easiest way of running our Sacco. Secondly, I would like to request humbly, if it is possible to read the directive to us right now, so we think about it. Thank you.
Okay. Directive, I think, has been shared, I think, more than 2 months ago. And sessions have been done, so that at least you appreciate it. And I've still read it on my speech. I took the directive verbatim, in as far as how the commission had printed it. And if mitambo zitaturuhusu, we may project even the directive circular on the screens as we progress. So Victor, please be aware of that. Okay, any other reaction to my speech? Yes, Bwana Peter.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Peter Korir, member number 499. Chair, in your speech, you read about the core capital and saying that the core capital is about 2 billion. I don't know what strategies the Sacco are working to ensure that we improve that core capital so that at least we are able to surpass that 10% threshold. Madam Eunice, possibly, I know that is not the chairman's speech, but she taught us about the delegate systems. I was just wondering, is the current directive anchored in law, or is it one of the best practice which is being proposed, and that is why it is coming to the SGM for deliberation? I am for the delegate system, and basically for me, I look at the Sacco like a village barasa. Village barasa will have everybody in the village attending. And as the village grows to a location, we have a representation, who is called an MCA. When it grows to a division, we have an MP. All of us will not come to parliament. And therefore, there are so many circles who are above 5,000. There are shortcomings with delegates, but there are also good things. So it's good we embrace some of the good practices, and we've grown. There are so many circles which are above 5,000. There are not many circles who are above 5,000. And among us, those who are big circles, yes, some of them may have had challenges, because not necessarily because of delegate system, but because of governance issues. So I want us to have that open approach and see that this is a progressive proposal which we should adapt as we grow. Another thing about this delegate system, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the ministry or the proposers, I look at it in terms of cost. You talked about our membership being 15,000. If each member comes over here, the 15,000, first it will be chaotic in terms of logistics. The cost, the token which we are normally given, 1,000, it will translate to 15 million. If you look at this, the supplementary budget, we are looking at a supplementary budget going to about 4.5 because of the assumptions that we are about 500 people. But if the 15 million, and possibly by next year we'll be at around, the 15,000, next year we could be about 20,000. You can see that cost is going to balloon and it will not be sustainable. So I want to urge our members to look at it from the positive aspect. The legalese, I'm very sure that the commissioner is not in conflict with the law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See Mr. George Karanja.
Okay, good afternoon, members, or is it good morning, members? I'm George Karanja. I'm a member 001-00517. I have a couple of reactions to your speech, Chairman. The first one is, I think it's important that your speech contains fact and that it is not written to skew a decision. If you read page 21, you say our expenses continue to grow, largely driven by direct member activities. And I don't think that's the case. If you go to page 36, the financials, and you look at the expenses, member expenses is direct activities is not the biggest line. The biggest line is actually staff. If you look at the numbers within member activity and why it looks like a big percentage, there is a credit in 2024 of 25 million. Reversal. And then you have taken that, you have ignored that reversal and looked at 2025 and therefore cast a number of 692%. That is incorrect. And I think that is being constructed to drive a certain agenda. And that agenda is the ADM as opposed to the AGM. So I disagree with that. Then when you look at the same 36, your variances, that's not how you do variance analysis. Back out the 100, Wafula. Let's see movement being the right movement. You have 112%, you have 115%. We haven't grown our expenses by that much. They've grown by 12, 15, 4, some have gone down. Then you have 81%. That is not a variance analysis. Make it a variance analysis so that the communication you're making with the members is correct. Now, with regards to your statement, Chairman, around the ADM, firstly, I think that directive contravenes the law. I disagree with Peter. I think it contravenes the law. And the law ought to be changed so that the directive can be made. But it's not the other way around. The ministry has no power above the law. The law is what guides us and guides the ministry. And the ministry must act in concert with the law. Now, in terms of costs, I know my colleague Peter has said it is to check costs. I am for the AGM any day. I agree with Judy that I can represent myself. You can represent yourself. The minute you have a delegate, what happens? They will express to the ADM what they feel they ought to express, not you. If you look at this, the example cited by Korir, Peter, and I respect Peter, but MCAs, MPs, if that is a delegate system, do they represent you? So why would we bring a broken system into a system that is working, which is a cooperative system? And let me offer this, that the ADM, the delegate system, is part of governance structure. You can't say it is poor governance in Cusco or in Metropolitan that caused those organizations to go under. The governance structure is a board all the way till the membership. In our case, it's a board with the AGM as the highest apex of the governance structure. Now, in the ADM is the highest apex of the governance structure. And we are saying it doesn't work. And I know we will come to it, but I just wanted to make it very clear that two things: it's against the law, but also it is not a good system. And the ministry knows it. I don't know why they are directing us to go down a road that they know is not a good road. And there are very many examples. We'll cite them later. But let me talk about costs. We say that the AGM is very expensive. I don't know, if you look at page 37, members, and you look at the AGM expense for last year was 4.4 million. This year, the AGM expense, and this year at the AGM, we were 12,000 members. We were not yet 15, was 5.6 million. 0.6% of the total income of this circle. 0.6%. Really, we cannot be changing governance structures to a bad structure to address a cost less than 1%. There has to be something else. And I know we'll get into those deliberations, but we need, Chairman, for your speech to call out correct figures, and even if you have a certain agenda that has been tabled by the ministry, I think also table it very objectively. Now, lastly, you said something. You said something when Judy said that we should not be taking such directives. You said that personally, you do not want to go against the government. You're standing there not as Mohanda personally, but as chairman of 15,000 members. And if you cannot tell government, my members don't want this, my members are saying this, then maybe you shouldn't be standing there. Thank you.
First of all, let me smile first, because the name Mohanda is associated with some level of politics, and I always try to avoid wearing that hat. George, I think you live in a boundary somewhere, isn't it? That country is called? Who runs it? What does the government use to run it? So how can I say that I go against 15,000 people within the boundaries of Kenya to go and fight my own country? You see, that is a directive I think I got from the ministry. And I felt it prudent to share with you. Sindio? And that's why I've not even made a stance on this. Neither have I made a direction. And if anybody who can quote me that nimesema tuchukue msimamo fulani, please quote me. Now, on the inaccuracies, I'm trying to struggle when you say that I've not quoted any correct figures. But these ones, I think, were taken from our financial reports. Direct member activities are not limited only to AGM and member allowances. But also, when we did these plowbacks, when we give you that reward, it is not the SACCO that benefits, it is you as a member. And it is an expense which is incurred by the SACCO in as far as income is concerned. Yeah, you can say, but it's a fact. I think maybe George will help on that. On matters of the directive being anchored in law and what have you, I think we are well represented with the Commission's office and the county directorship. I think they'll expound more on that. And what other question was there? The strategies on raising the core capital. Ideally, these strategies, it's all upon you as an individual. Basically, saving more within the SACCO, living by the cooperative movement's mantras. That is savings and loaning. So savings, if you embrace a certain part of savings, I think that's a strategy where we need to employ to encourage more members to save. And I think the marketing and the business development teams will be working out on strategies to ensure that we assemble more. One of the strategies I think we employed was on giving better returns, especially on share capital. And we saw the fruits, even as I highlighted in my speech, whereby we were able to mobilize about 223 million within a span of barely a few days, just because of that incentive. So we'll be incentivizing members to actually save more on that. Okay, any other reaction? Okay, the gentleman. I hope you've remembered your member number. Yeah, because we record them in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. I had to go to my emails. They are not very good emails because it's about, what do you call this? Around defaults. But I'm a member also, anyway. I want, first of all, Chairman, with your permission, to tell these members that this is the first time I'm coming for this meeting since I joined the SACCO in 2006. And I'm happy that I've been ably represented all this time. And therefore, I've not complained that I've missed the meetings. And I want to thank each and every of you for keeping it going. The other thing is that, sorry, I'm a member number 304. The other one's 00100, that one. The other thing I want to mention is that I'm not talking about the delegate system, but the question of about representation is real. If you are not well represented by your member of parliament or your member of whatever, it means you have done the wrong choice. Therefore, you don't blame the government when it was you who had the right to make the right choice. I say this because I am running for member of parliament, and I don't envisage where my people from the constituency all come to the parliament. They cannot fit. The other thing now, going to the chairman's speech. Thank you very much. A wonderful speech and well elaborated. But I just listened and I saw a line there called marketing expense and CSR. And I saw that the budget for this year is 6.3 million and the actual for last year is 5.6 million. Maybe Kadri, you could have told us where that money has gone to, because we've not mentioned anything about CSR, even planting a single tree. And yesterday was a tree planting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mention that in the speech on the CSR. I think after me, it will be the treasurer who will elaborate on the budgets, where you'll, like I said, we are very transparent and open, and your questions are the ones which will actually help us improve. He'll expound more on our expenses, how we have utilized our resources, and the areas we want to target for better growth. Okay, any last comments so that we jump into the budget? Okay, I can see 2 hands here. Start with that and then. Okay. Name and member number.
Okay, my name is Gosho Kehara. My member number is 15103. I just wanted to ask, if for some reason we don't approve the delegate system, what is going to happen to us as a SACCO?
Okay, that other question. The representatives are here. I hope you've heard those questions. In fact, even Eunice, you're also taking note.
Thank you so much. I'm Bethwell, member 108914. Reaction from the chairman's report, page number 21 on membership. Membership increased by 15%, 15,214. These are very good impact to the SACCO. But it has not indicated how many people left the SACCO. Now, my question goes to the CEO. I want him to personally answer this because he's the one implementing. To state and explain how an individual can exit a SACCO. Because some people, so many people are suffering in silence and they are not bringing it out. I have a friend of mine who left job. He cannot continue contributing. When he applied for his benefits, the share capital plus the savings, alikutana na shida. Alipata mtu wa kununua everything, savings plus the share capital, na akaambiwa atafute alternative guarantors, akawapata wote, lakini shida ilitokea, the guaranteed people, wale watu walikuwa wameguarantee, waliambiwa warepay mobile loans kwanza, ndio my friend awe released. So can the CEO explain to us the procedure on how to exit a SACCO? Thank you so much.
Okay, no, that question is largely operational, especially knowing the number of members who have exited and the likes. But I think being close to your calculator, if you work backwards, less 17.7% of the 15,000, you'll know the new members who have actually joined in net. And those ones who have exited, we normally share that during the AGM, where we have the detailed numbers and the likes. So unless maybe George has the numbers, but we'll share that. Yeah, that one I told you, the officials will give us the direction on that. And yeah. So situfungie hapo kwa speech yangu, ama kuna mtu akona swali na mchoma kabisa? Yes, Ambrose.
Good afternoon, corporators. Now, Mr. Chair, I think what's happening is that the delegates system that you guys are proposing to members, I don't want to repeat what members have said about the law and directives and all that stuff. Maybe you think it's a necessary evil, because if you look at our last AGM that we held at St. Stephen's, sorry? All Saints, sorry. I think there were quite a number of people showed up, and it was very disruptive. Here, it's more organized because as much as people are showing up, there are not so many people in the hall. So, in a way, nature has decided that even as a society, you find that nature is sort of has its own way of giving a delegates. Like right now, I'm very sure the number of members who have come and registered are more than the number of people who are over here. So already we have a delegate system. But what's happening is this. You people talk about members not losing their rights. And I think that's not being true, because in a delegate system, first of all, you see this book, will it be available to all members? Huh? And then other members have been telling me, what about the transport and all that stuff? Will it also be available to members? So in a way, members are going to lose something. It's not going to be smooth sailing like when we come here and we represent ourselves and we sort out, I mean, we what's this, our issues? Okay, sorry, I'm looking for a word. But anyway, and as Karanja said, directives from the ministry, they talk to all SACCOs in this country, because the directives come from somewhere. And SACCOs have challenges. But you people, you listen to the members and you tell them that this law is not practical, it's not something that it's not workable, because members are against it, and we can look for other ways. Instead of them saying, okay, fine, this so-and-so SACCO went under because of ABCD, this is a problem that is universal, now this is the remedy. No, fight for us first. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. One thing I think I want to also add, the views that I'm getting in as far as the vibe that is on the ground, I'm getting them here for the first time. So I've not approached any member, lest I appear biased, as George says. I think we'll work towards it. And you've brought out a very good point, that once we adopt the delegate system, you do not lose your membership. I hope that clears the air in as far as worry. And those are the questions which are again being packed to be asked. You won't lose actually you won't even lose your ability to go to the SACCO. It's only that you won't be able to attend the general meetings. That's, I think, the biggest one. But you can vote in the delegate. And during one of the training sessions, we were told that the delegate, of course, has to be somebody of good standing, taking care of all the member interests. He can be recalled at the whim of a meeting by the membership if you're not happy with him. But that will be expounded much later. And yeah, tufungie hapo. Ama kuna mtu tuende kwa budget Yaani tufungie hapo kwa speech yangu. Ulitoka. Haya, see, clap for me. Those claps, I think, will also be ushering in our treasurer, who will now come to present the budget. Karibu Bwana George.
Good afternoon, members. So I had a presentation that I want to use for the budget. So if that can come up, the people managing ICT, please bring up the presentation. So as I do that, our distinguished guests, directors, our beloved members, good afternoon again. So we have the Treasurer's report, which is in your booklets from page 28, and there's quite a lot of details that we've covered. So from 28 all the way, all those numbers you are seeing there, up to page 39, but also there are some other numbers appearing on page 40, 41, 42, 43. So quite a lot in the booklet. So we've given a lot of details for members, and the reports were shared with members. So I'll take it that we've taken time to read, but for now I'll be able to just explain using a presentation, and I'll be able to give the details where necessary. So starting off with the economic outlook, and I think this is important always because we do budgets in a context. We operate in an environment, and I think it's good to understand that environment where we operate from. So starting with the World Economic Outlook, it indicates a regression. So the interest rates are high globally, and most governments are struggling on the fiscal front. Yeah, so there's expectation that inflation will ease, and this has mainly been because of the COVID. The effects of COVID have lingered longer. The effects of the war, the geopolitics, the trade wars, the Trump effect, all these have affected the global economy. And the global economy affects even us in our operations. So the forecast for 2026, more or less at the same level, at 3%, according to the World Bank projections. Then coming home, the Kenya economic context for 2025. In our country, we are constrained by the high debt servicing costs. Yeah, we have high debt as a country. The government has to balance servicing debts, allocating money for development, and other recurrent expenditure. So all these have a bearing on economic activities in our country. The interest rates have remained elevated as much as Treasury has been trying to really reduce the CBR so that banks can follow suit, but somehow the banks have not been responding positively. And since we are in the financial services sector, even this affects us. Agriculture and exports faced a lot of challenges, climate shocks, lower tea prices, and all this affects us because agriculture is a key contributor to our GDP. Despite all this, the economy is looking up, and we expect positive growth rate. The CBR rate has reduced. I think the latest is now 9%, 9.25%. 2 days ago, it was 9.25%. So banks are supposed to also use that as a reference rate, but I know there have been conversations. Banks asking that they do risk-based lending. I'm still on this page 2. I think whoever is controlling, please listen to what I'm talking about so that you don't move ahead. Exchange rate has been fairly stable. Inflation has been fairly stable, yeah, which is a good indicator, but the cost of borrowing has been a major challenge because a big component of our members are business people, the SMEs, and this affects them. In terms of government treasury bills, also the rates have been coming down because we also invest. We have a significant component of our investments in the government bonds, and we've seen this has been coming down. I think the 91-day treasury bill now is below 8%, the latest release. The next slide, so in terms of the outlook for 2026, so there's a projection that the economy will grow between 5.3 to 5.6. So there's a optimism that the economy will do better than 2025. 2025 growth is at around 5%, but for 2026, there's optimism that we'll do better in terms of the economy. And as well, inflation expected to be stable at around below 5%. And even CBR projected to remain below 9.5. Next slide. Now, turning to the industry, because as an industry, we have SASRA that regulates us, and we have the SACCOs regulated by SASRA. So if we compare how we did, the headings are 2024, not 2025, so I think that's a mistake. It was to be corrected, it wasn't. So looking at the 2024, because SASRA released their report, and if we look how the industry performed in terms of assets, 13.46 was the growth of all the SACCOs regulated by SASRA, whereas Maisha Bora, we were 10.4. So we are behind in terms of how we are performing vis-a-vis the industry. Similarly, on the growth of loans, the industry was 14% and we did 8.76. Again, we are below the industry. And the story continues even on deposits. We are below the industry. So this shows, yes, we have challenges that we need to address, and we need to convert the challenges to opportunities. Now, some of the reasons that are affecting us at macro level because of the economic conditions, members are not able to borrow loans. Disposable income has gone down because we know very well for the salaried employees, there is SHA, there's housing levy, there is NSSF, that has reduced the disposable income of most of our members. So in terms of deposits, that is a challenge. The same affects business people because of the economic conditions. So the money available for our members to be able to come to the SACCO and put as deposits has reduced over the year. So this has affected us, As much as, yes, it's a macro issue, but if we look at our demographics in terms of our membership vis-a-vis the other SACCOs, I think we got a higher effect of those changes on our members. The second effect has been, again, our demographics. We have aging membership of our SACCO members. So some of those SACCOs are now exiting. Some of those members are now exiting. So we had exits. So we had deposit flight, and that's why I think for the first time, our deposits are growing below double digit because of the members who are exiting, and these are members who had huge savings. But again, it's just because of the economic conditions, and also members have had better options in terms of investment in government bonds. You all recall, government bonds were paying as high as 15, 18% previously. So some members opted to withdraw and put their money in government bonds. So that really affected our deposits. The other issue is dormancy. Dormancy is an emerging issue. Yes, we have 15,000 members, but if you look at the active members, you find not all the 15,000 are active. And here active means you are servicing your account regularly. If you don't service your account regularly for 3 months, you become a dormant member. We've seen that number growing, especially in this year. Yes, it has a bearing on what is happening in the economy. There's a member there who asked a question that there's a member who lost their job and they can't continue servicing the account, but they're still members. So you'll check that member has already fallen into dormancy because they've not been servicing the account for at least 3 months. So these are some of the things that have affected us, and as a board, we are trying to come up with strategies on how do we address some of these issues. Yeah, but it shows, yes, there's potential to grow, because if other SACCOs are growing faster than us, then there's something we can always do. Next slide. Now, the next slide is on 2025 performance vis-a-vis the budgets. And again, here just looking at some of the key lines. So in terms of the asset book, we closed August month at 6.4 billion. Our target, or rather our projection, is we'll close the year at 7 billion in terms of the asset. And our budget was 7.6. But again, the reasons I've explained on the previous slide apply. That's why we are tracking behind our numbers. However, still our asset book will have grown by 7% as at end of the year. Then for loan book, the growth, 9%. We are projecting to close the year at 4.9 billion. Then in terms of income, we are projecting a growth of 12%. So you'll see that we had budgeted that we'll grow up to 1.1 billion in terms of our revenue. But because of the effects that we've seen, we've revised our projection and we'll only be able to exit the year at 905 million, being a 12% growth, which is still a good performance. However, we are behind our budgets. And the reason here is because, again, the loans, our loans have been below what we budgeted, but again, it's because of our members' ability to service the loans, yeah, and also to save so that they're able to take loans. Staff expenses, yeah, I had, again, a member mention that staff expenses is one of the biggest component. And indeed, I have a table. We'll be showing how that contributes to the overall expenses of the SACCO. And the growth here, 15%, is the growth of staff expenses. And indeed, you'll recall, in the past, we've been saying, yes, we need to have a proper establishment so that we improve operational efficiency. We need to ensure that we expand our market reach. So with the new branch that we came up with, our establishment has gone up, partly driving that. Then for committee expenses, 4% growth is what we are projecting. So it will be below budget, but we'll grow at 4%. Member expenses, and again, the details for member expenses are in the booklet. So we are projecting that will close at 44.6, still below the budgeted number of 52.6. And again, a member raised a question here on the chairman's report. So I'm not very clear what the issue is, but I think in the booklet, all the details are there. You're able to see the costs itemized out line by line. And in terms of the budget variance analysis, I think there are a number of methods. So I opted for consistency. Because yes, last year, IFRS 9 model gave us a credit release. This year, we are yet to do that. We'll do it normally end of the year. We'll be able to see if we get another credit release or not. So for consistent purpose, we left numbers factual as they are, rather than start adjusting items out. Yeah, because the question becomes, when we have a significant hit in another year, will you also remove it out? Or do we maintain consistency? So I think I opted for consistency. Admin expenses, 23% growth. But in these admin expenses, again, if you look through the booklets, The main drivers here actually is the Golden Jubilee. Because we felt Golden Jubilee, it's both a member activity but also a marketing activity. So we've budgeted some component there for Golden Jubilee that has driven that admin cost. But again, the details are there in the booklet. I'll try and scan through quickly. Then finance expense, that is interest on member deposits. Next slide, just looking at the numbers in a picture format, how we are trending in terms of the forecast and in terms of the budget and in terms of the SP. So you can clearly see we are significantly lower than our SP ambitions, and I'll be coming to that to just explain some of the reasons behind that. But the slides here just gives a pictorial performance of the forecast, because we've relooked at the numbers based on what we are seeing, compared with what we had budgeted, and compared with what was in the strategic plan. Yeah, so the lighter green bar is a strategic plan, and you can see by now we are meant to be doing 9.9 billion in terms of deposits, and we are only at 4.6 billion. And even our budget was on 4.9, we'll miss that. But again, the issue of deposit I've spoken about, member exits because of alternative investment that were giving higher returns, the issue of dormancy, the issue of the macroeconomic issues around disposable income of our members, the environment for the SMEs doing business has affected members' ability to save. So that has affected that. And also, if you look at the economic condition, we are yet actually to recover to the pre-COVID levels, whereas this SP was done with the pre-COVID growth ambitions. So that has affected our performance. But I'll be coming to this shortly. I have another slide on the SP. Supplementary budget, these are the items. Again, overall we are within budget. We are not asking for additional money. Yeah, we are just, for transparency's sake, disclosing that yes, some of the areas we need to reassign monies here and there, and we try to explain the areas where we will be going over in terms of the allocation, but overall budget is still the same. So one of the areas is NSSF, and for NSSF, we will be going higher because of the revision. This is the tier two change that happened in the year. I think we had not factored that in the budget. Then for AGM expenses as well, because AGM already happened, our budget was 5 million, but the actual turned out at 5.6. So that's 600 additional. Again, for the purpose of disclosing, that's why we've brought it here, that for the AGM that already happened beginning of the year, we spent 641,000 more, because the turnout was higher than we had expected. Yeah, and I know members have already spoken about the attendance. Yes, we are 15,000 members. The allowance for meetings is 1,000. So if all members were to turn up, we'll have to pay 15 million. So at times it's not very easy to budget. You only look at the past trends and assume that yes, the past trends of attendance will hold, but at times we get it wrong. That's why these numbers change. For SGM, again, today we had an estimate that the turnout, we are yet to see. People are still streaking in, so we'll see what the numbers turn out to be. But we were expecting higher turnout because of the agenda. The ADM, yeah, the delegate system is an emotive issue, so we expected that more members will show up Yeah, we'll see how that turns out, but again, we flagged it here that this is another area we think will be above. Then amortization, these are depreciation for assets. Yeah, somehow we changed our depreciation method, I think, towards the end of last year. And we had already done the budget. So this affected, because we used to have almost a 12-month delay before we start depreciating our assets, which was not quite aligned with the international accounting standards. So that had an effect on our amortization or depreciation cost for the year 2025. But again, this being a statistical charge is not money necessarily, but it's just depreciation for our assets. Then the proposed budget, I think we can look through our books so that, because the screens are very tiny, I don't want members to accuse me that they could not see. So the budget's page 36, and you can clearly see we have provided as much details as possible so that members can follow. So the first column gives the description of either the income or the expense. Then the next column gives last year, 2024 actual. So you're able to see where we are coming from, where we are going, and what we are asking. Then the third column there shows actual position as at August. September, because of the time, we're not able to finalize to show members September position. Then we have the full year forecast column. Then also we've shown you the budgets that you had approved last year, and we've shown the strategic plan for last year, and we've shown the budgets that we'll be asking members to approve for next year, and also we've shown the strategic plan for next year. So quite a lot of details. We've tried to break it down as much as we can so that members can follow. So for full year 2025, we are saying we'll exit the year with an income of 905 million, which will be short of our budgets. Our budget's 1.1, so we'll miss that target. Then for 2026, we are saying we'll grow from 905 to 1.1 billion, being a 23% growth, which is ambitious, but we have the activities and initiatives behind it to be able to drive that number. But even then, we'll just be slightly above 50% ambition of our SP. And again, I said I'll be coming to the SP. I have a slide coming up to try and explain the reasons behind some of the significant variances. Then moving down, we have staff expenses. So again, if you look at staff expenses in terms of last year, at 72.7 million, as at August, 48.9 million. We are forecasting the year will exit at 83.8. Our budget 83.7, so just 100,000 above budget. Then also, if you compare the ratio to gross income, you will see that staff expenses account for 9.3% of our income. That is what is going to our members, and I have a pie chart again that I'll show the distribution of the income across our various expenses so that it's all clear to our members. Committee expenses, Last year it was 12.7. We are focusing, this year it will be 13.3. And if you look at the ratio to income, 1.5% is what we are focusing for 2025 and 1.4 2026. So going down next is member expenses. And member expenses last year, 6.7 was the figure, but in there we had the IFRS 9 release of 25 million. So if you had to add that back, that number will have been around 32 million compared with what we are projecting this year, 46. So if you remove that 25, based on what the member was talking about, that member expense will have been at 32 rounded million, vis-a-vis 46.7 million. So there is an increase in terms of member expenses, but again, if you go line by line, the first increase is on insurance, because yes, as we grow our loan book, that insurance follows suit as well. Then if you look at the AGM expenses, there is an increase also on that line.